Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today
Yeah.
into Laurent Chenot's vision for a world transformed by fire. It's inspiring, we always hear about making the world better. But Laurent, Honenapfamiako, lays out an actual path.
Yes.
And it's a path with spirituality, community,
Yeah.
deep respect for nature. It's a world where, like Laurent says, we could actually make John Lennon's Imagine a reality.
It is. It is powerful. And to understand it, you have to start with understanding Phi. It's
Ah.
practiced by millions worldwide.
Wow.
Now, it's not a cult or anything like that.
Right.
Phi is a system of divination,
Mhm.
cosmology. It connects us to divine order. It thinks of it as a way to tap into ancient wisdom, understand our destiny, guided by the Bokonos.
Yeah.
These spiritual leaders, they use tools
Yeah.
like palm nuts or divining chains to reveal profound insights.
The Phi's like a roadmap, and the Bokonos are like expert navigators.
Exactly.
But what does a Phi world actually look like? What makes it so
Yes.
different, so much better than what we have today?
Well, imagine a world where spirituality isn't just a Sunday morning thing, but woven into the fabric of life.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that we're all connected to
Yeah.
something larger
Yeah.
than ourselves, the divine, to each other.
So spirituality
Yes.
becomes a driving force.
Yes.
It influences everything, personal choices,
Yeah.
to how society functions.
Exactly. And this spiritual foundation leads to a profound sense of community and
Yeah.
cooperation. Ubuntu. I am because we are. It's central to Fa. And it's not just a saying, it's a lived experience.
Beautiful. So instead of individualism
Right.
and competition,
Right.
a Phi world prioritizes collaboration
Yeah.
and shared success.
Absolutely. It's about understanding that our well-being is
Okay.
interconnected. We thrive when the community thrives. And that responsibility extends to
Yeah.
our relationship with nature.
Now, I'm sensing a theme here: connection, harmony, a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
But tell me more how nature fits into this Phi world.
In a fad world, nature isn't just a resource. It's sacred. Recognizing we are part of nature, not separate from it. Imagine a world where environmental respect isn't a political debate, but just a way of life.
Like shifting from a mindset of dominance to one of reverence, seeing the planet as a partner, not just a provider.
Precisely. And this deep respect informs everything from how we produce and consume to how we design our cities, our communities.
Okay, so we've got spirituality, community, connection with nature. What else makes this fad world so compelling? What makes it better?
Well, let's talk about health. In Vast World, healing isn't just addressing symptoms. It's holistic. It encompasses the physical, the emotional, the spiritual dimensions of well-being.
Instead of just treating the disease, we're treating the whole person.
Exactly. Recognizing true health comes from balance, harmony within ourselves and with the world around us.
That makes sense. Now, I'm curious, how would a fad world approach economics and spirituality and profit really coexist?
That's where Ubuntu economics comes in. It's a radical departure from the profit-driven models we see today. Imagine an economic system that prioritizes fairness, resource sharing, the well-being of all members of society. It's about making sure everyone has basic needs met and wealth is distributed more equitably.
And no more billionaires,
Exacto.
while others struggle to survive.
Not in a fair world, no. It's about an economic system that benefits the whole community, not just a select few. And that principle of shared prosperity extends to leadership.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. Lauren talks about leadership in a fair world, and he's a Honen himself. What makes leaders different in this vision?
In a foul world, those in power, they see themselves as stewards, not rulers. They put the well-being of the community above personal gain. Imagine leaders accountable to the people they serve, guided by integrity, transparency, a desire to create a better world.
Wow, that's such a contrast to what we see today. It's almost a complete reversal of the power dynamics.
It is. Think about it. If the most important leaders were Honens, or at least advised by Honens, like Laurent Chenot, their decisions would be rooted in spiritual wisdom, ethical principles, a deep understanding of interconnectedness.
Okay, I'm starting to see how these pieces fit together, but what about everyday life? What would family and community look like in a Fa world?
Remember, the emphasis on intergenerational connection. In a Fa world, families are strong, supportive, deep bonds between generations. Elders are honored for their wisdom, and children are raised with a strong sense of community and belonging.
It's like going back to those traditional values
Mm-hmm.
of extended family and community support that we've lost touch with in our modern world.
Exactly. And the Hanans play a vital role. In this too, they're not just spiritual leaders. They're deeply involved in family and community life, providing guidance, support, and wisdom.
It's like having a spiritual mentor within the family, someone to turn to for advice and support.
Precisely. And that sense of community extends beyond the family unit. Imagine neighborhoods where people look out for each other. Cooperation is the norm, and everyone feels a sense of belonging and purpose.
This fell world is starting to sound pretty utopian, but we live in a world with real challenges. How would a faith-based society address things like conflict, poverty, or injustice?
Well, remember, Fae provides a framework for understanding our interconnectedness. So in a Fae world, these challenges wouldn't be isolated problems, but symptoms of a deeper imbalance.
So instead of Band-Aids on the symptoms, would be addressing the root causes.
Exactly. It's about creating a society where everyone has the opportunity to thrive, where justice and fairness are paramount, and conflict is resolved through dialogue.
This is all incredibly fascinating, but we've covered a lot of ground. I don't want to overwhelm our listeners.
You're right. We've just scratched the surface of Luan Chanot's vision for a world transformed by Fae.
So let's pause here and let our listeners absorb all this amazing information. When we come back, we'll delve even deeper into the specifics of what a fair world would look like, from politics and economics to family life and personal growth. Stay tuned because there's so much more to explore. Welcome back, everyone. Now, last time, we explored those foundational principles of Fae and how they could reshape our world. But let's get even more specific. I'm dying to know, how would this Fae world actually function?
Well, let's start with politics. In today's world, it's all power struggles, short-sighted decisions.
Yeah.
But imagine a political system guided by Fae. Leaders wouldn't be driven by personal gain, ambition.
Yeah.
They'd be stewards, dedicated
With
well.
paying of the community and the planet.
Okay, that sounds ideal, but how would that work in practice? How would we ensure accountability, prevent corruption? That's where the principles of Fa really shine. Remember, Fa emphasizes integrity, transparency, a deep sense of responsibility. So in a Fa world, leaders would be held to the highest ethical standards. There'd be mechanisms to make sure they truly serve the people they represent, not just their own interests.
So it's not just good intentions. It's a system that supports ethical leadership.
Exactly. And with challenges like organized crime, a Fa approach,
It would be
a multifaceted.
Very
It
cool.
wouldn't just focus on punishment. It would prioritize prevention and rehabilitation. Remember, Fa emphasizes understanding the root causes. So instead of reacting to crime, a Fa-based society would focus on creating conditions where crime is less likely in the first place.
That's fascinating. Shift in perspective, moving from reactive to proactive. But politics and crime are just one piece of the puzzle. What about the economy? How would a Fa world approach poverty, wealth inequality, the need for sustainable development?
Well, remember, Ubuntu economics is radical. Departure from that's profit-driven models that dominate the world today. In a Fa world, economic decisions wouldn't be driven by the bottom line. They'd be based on fairness, resource sharing, ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
Okay, but I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. How would that actually play out? Give me some concrete examples.
Sure. Imagine a world where businesses are structured as cooperatives, where profits are shared among workers. Decision-making is more democratic. Or think about how natural resources would be managed instead of being exploited for short-term gain. They'd be stewarded with a long-term perspective, ensuring sustainability for future generations.
It's like shifting from an extractive economy to a regenerative one. That's powerful. But I have to ask, how do the Honans fit into all this? Would they have a direct role in politics or economics?
Hounans wouldn't necessarily hold political office, but their wisdom and guidance would be invaluable. They could serve as advisors to leaders, helping them make decisions that align with 5 principles. Remember, the Hounans are deeply connected to the divine. They have an understanding of ethical conduct, the interconnectedness of all things.
So it's like a spiritual and ethical compass. Guiding those in power. But what about everyday life? What would it be like to raise a family.
In a fair
world.
we'll remember the emphasis on intergenerational connection, respect for elders, family units would be strong, supportive, deep bonds between generations. Children would be raised with a strong sense of community, learning not just from their parents, but from their grandparents and the wider community.
Sounds like a return to traditional values of extended family and community support.
That we've lost in many parts of the world.
Exactly. And the Honans play a vital role in family life, offering spiritual guidance, support during times of need, helping families navigate challenges. So it's like having a spiritual mentor within the family, someone to turn to for wisdom and advice. But wouldn't that level of community involvement cryptically stifle individuality, create pressure to conform?
That's a great question. Remember, Walfei emphasizes community. It also values diversity and individual expression. It's not about everyone being the same. It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected and our well-being
is tied to
our well-being
of the community.
So it's about finding that balance between individual freedom and collective responsibility.
Precisely. And that balance extends to how a faith-based society would approach education. Children would be encouraged to develop their unique talents and interests, but also learn about their role in the community, the importance of contributing to the collective good.
A holistic approach to education that nurtures the individual and the community. But let's face it, we live in a world riddled with conflict and division. Can Faye really offer a path to peace? Well, Fa doesn't have all the answers, but it provides a powerful framework for fostering peace. Remember, it's rooted in understanding our interconnectedness, recognizing that we're all part of one human family. In a Fa world, conflict wouldn't be ignored or suppressed. It would be addressed through dialogue, empathy, and a desire to find solutions that benefit all parties.
This, instead of resorting to violence or aggression, a foul approach would prioritize understanding, compassion, and finding common ground.
Exactly. And that emphasis on peaceful conflict resolution would extend to the global stage. Imagine if world leaders were guided by Fa principles, seeking solutions that benefit not just their nations, but humanity as a whole.
Wow, that's a powerful vision. But before we get lost in the possibilities, let's bring it back to our listeners. What can they take away from all this? What's the message we want to leave them with?
I think the key takeaway is that a better world is possible. Laurent Chenot's vision for a world transformed by Fa may seem idealistic, but it's grounded in principles that are ancient and timeless. It's a reminder that we have the power to create a world where spirituality, community, and respect for all life guide out every step.
That's truly inspiring. But we're not done yet. In the next part, we'll explore what it would look like to live in a Fa world, from the mundane to the extraordinary. Stay tuned.
Because there's still much more to discover.
Welcome back. We've been on this journey exploring Laurent Chenot's vision for a world transformed by Fa. We talked about the big stuff: politics, economics, community life.
But now I'm curious, what would it actually feel like to live in this Fa world? How would it impact our daily lives?
Well, imagine waking up every morning feeling to yourself, your community, nature, the divine. That connection would be in every part of your day.
Okay. Paint me a picture. What would a typical day look like in this Fa world?
For one, your day might begin with a moment of reflection.
Or meditation, connecting with your inner self, setting your intentions for the day.
So starting the day with purpose, mindfulness, instead of just rushing into the chaos.
Exactly. And as you go through your day, whether you're working with family, friends, or just enjoying free time, those Fa principles would guide you. You'd approach everything with compassion, understanding, and respect for everyone.
So it's not big gestures, societal shifts. It's about those everyday moments make up our lives.
Precisely. Imagine going to work not in some cutthroat environment, but in a cooperative setting where collaboration is valued, shared success. You know your work would be meaningful, contributing to the well-being
of the community. So work is less about climbing the ladder and more about contributing to something larger than yourself. I like that. Well, what about downtime? What would people do for fun in a Fa world?
Leisure activities would align with Fa values, connection, creativity, well-being. Imagine spending time in nature, connecting with your community through music and dance, or doing activities that nurture you physically, emotionally, spiritually.
Finding joy and fulfillment in things that are
Yeah.
personally enriching,
What do you
good for the community.
Exactly. And when challenges come up, because they always do, you have a strong support system to help you. Family, friends, neighbors, the Honans, they'd offer guidance, wisdom, assistance.
It's a world
Yeah.
where you're never truly alone. There's always someone to lean on.
That's the beauty of Ubuntu. I am because we are. Your well-being is tied to everyone else's.
This all sounds incredibly appealing, but I know some people might think this is great, but how do we actually get there? It seems like such a radical shift from the world we live in.
You're right. It won't happen overnight, but every journey starts with a single step, and that step can be simple. Just embrace those 5 principles in your own life.
So what can our listeners do to start bringing
A bit of this thought world.
into their lives?
You can start by cultivating those qualities in yourself. Practice compassion, empathy, understanding in how you interact with others, connect with your community, support causes you believe in, make choices that match your values.
So living those fair principles, even if the world around us hasn't caught up yet.
Exactly. And remember, individual actions create a ripple effect when more people embrace these values. That positive energy spreads. It creates momentum for change.
It's a powerful message. We don't have to wait for the world to change. We can be the change we want to see.
Exactly. As we finish this deep dive into Laurent Chenot's vision, let's remember his words. We can make John Lennon's Imagine a reality. It's a reminder. A better world is possible. It's a call to embrace the wisdom of fair, to work together, create a world that shows our highest aspirations.
I don't know about you, but I feel incredibly inspired this journey.
Through the world.
Right? It's been eye-opening, challenging, and ultimately hopeful. We have the power to create a world with connection, compassion, a deep respect for all life. And that's a future worth fighting for.
It is. And as Laurent says, we don't have to. Just imagine it. We can start building it. One thought, one action, one connection at a time.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it's sparked your imagination and maybe ignited a passion for a better world. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep believing in the power of a Seigneur to transform us and our world.